Draws. So many draws. Yes, hello, welcome back into the Killie Boys here on the 11am Sports YouTube channel. If you aren't already, hit that subscribe button below. Just takes a little click and it helps me out a lot. Yes, as I alluded to in the intro, since we met the last time for the 4-2 defeat to Celtic, we've had quite a lot of draws. The first one was immediately after that Celtic game against Hibs. 1-1 draw. We scored a goal with Greg Kiltie late on, and Patrick Lamala scored for Hibs right at the end of the game. We dominated the game. The ratings don't look great, but we did. And very disappointing to get a draw in that game. We followed that up with a nice 2-0 victory over Dundee United. Not much to talk about there. We then played against Wolves in a game that really didn't mean anything in the Europa League. We lost that game 2-1. Greg Kiltie scoring again, actually. He scored quite a few goals over that time for us. A 2-1 defeat meant we did come second in that group, as we already knew. We could have won something like 8-0 to come first, but was not going to happen, obviously. 2-1 defeat to Wolves there, and we got through. And I'll mention later on who we got in the first knockout round. You can see I'm deliberately hiding it. Where is it? Over here. Yeah, deliberately hiding it from you with the way the fixtures are going. Yeah, the draw's not fun. After that game, we drew 0-0 with Livingston. I don't know what it is against Livingston Forest. They're bottom of the league. We lost to them earlier in the season and drew with them here. They only have something like, 8 points? It's 12 points in the league, and 4 of them have come against us, which is very, very frustrating. That was a 0-0 draw against Livingston. Aberdeen was a 1-1 draw. Dougie Green getting a last-minute equaliser for us there. We did dominate that game, and somehow did not get the win. We then lost to Motherwell 2-1 in a game that we did not play well in at all, to be honest. I don't know why we didn't play well. We just did not. One of those games that we lost 2-1. We then played Rangers, where we got a nice 1-1 draw. To be honest, we totally dominated this game. We had something like 15 shots to their 3, 60% of the ball, and somehow only came away with a 1-1 draw. That then took us to our winter break. We had a lovely friendly victory over Basel, 3-2 there. We then played Hearts in the Scottish Cup, where we drew 0-0. Another game where we did not play very well. Our defence played well, but we didn't have anything going forward at all. And then we just played Hearts in the league, a game after that, and Eamon Brophy scoring the goal in the 52nd minute to win that game 1-0. Now, I did say that we were going to play against St Mirren and Ayr today, but the Ayr games had to be moved because we drew that game against Hearts in the Scottish Cup 4th round. So we've got the replay to play. So I thought we'd just show you that game anyway. So St Mirren, like I'd promised, and then Hearts in the Scottish Cup 4th round replay, hopefully getting through to the next round. There have been some developments in the transfer market. The first one being Stuart Finley leaving the club. He played basically every game for us in previous seasons, but this year he'd only played one game in the league, and that was off the bench. So we sold him for £425,000 to Swansea. Wish Finley all the luck he can have there, because he's been a good servant to the club, but we just didn't need him at centre back. We had enough centre backs here. That was until we sold Etienne to Shenhua in China. We did not accept this offer. The board accepted the offer on our behalf. You can see he's now earning £59,000 a week. He was earning about £8,000 at Kilmarnock. There's no doubt he's an amazing defender. We got £22 million for him, which for a club like Kilmarnock, that's ridiculous. Now, some money went to him. I think he had a 20% sell-on clause in his contract, which meant he earned about £4 million from the transfer. So I can understand why he wanted to go there. And obviously we had to pay some fees to previous clubs. I think we ended up making, about £14 million or something off that sale, which, I mean, we can't really turn down at a team like Kilmarnock. But it did mean that last season's centre-back partnership in Etienne and Finley had now left the club. Obviously, we were playing Spence this year instead of Finley. But it now means that I'm not saying we were short at centre back because we had quite a few, but two of our better ones are away, and certainly our best one was away. Finley had left the club. We promoted Castrop to captain, Etienne to vice captain, and like 2 weeks later, Etienne goes away, so we then had to get a new vice captain. But the sale of Etienne for that amount of money did mean that it opened up the transfer market for us to try and bring in some other players, and that's exactly what we have done. To try and replace Etienne, we brought in Jamie Hamilton, the 22-year-old Scottish centre back. Ironically, Jamie Hamilton from Hamilton. His statistics, or his overall ratings, I should say, don't look that great from previous years, but his report, was good, and some of these important statistics, heading, marking, tackling, looks good for us. Some nice physicals as well in there. There's a little chance for him to improve as well. He's a sort of player, though, I think, with playing in the Europa League with us, and being at the top of the table, even if we don't, play him a lot, if he's not our first choice back, he'll improve in value, and we can then sell him on for a little bit of profit, I hope. Anyway, he wanted to leave Hamilton to move to a bigger club, and he has moved to Kilmarnock. And another problem we're having, especially with Charles O'Boley being out for, ended up being nearly 3 months he was out for, was we didn't have a huge number of players to play kind of in behind the striker and across that three. I had Rodder Richards doing well on the right, Dylan Tate doing well in the middle. Kiltie had been playing well for us, but his actual stats didn't look that great. His star ability wasn't that great. So bringing someone else in was quite important, I thought. And we've brought in Chris Mochrie here on loan from Leicester until the end of the season. He's valued at £5 million. He was previously at Dundee United before Leicester bought him for 7.75. He's played 6 games for Leicester this year, and now we have loaned him from the Premiership side. He looks quite a nice player there, nice stats there if you look at for inside forward, the position he's probably going to play. Dribbling, finishing's good, passing's good, he's got good technique, he's got some nice physical stats there as well. Hopefully he can do something for us, even if it's just as a squad player, but certainly another option in behind that striker. And all that business leaves the club finances like this. We've actually got £6 million of a transfer budget available, and we've got, £40,000 to spend in wages, but we are not. I don't see anyone that I hugely want to bring in, and I'm fairly happy, I think, now with the squad as it is. It's no doubt, I think, defensively we're weaker. Etienne was very, very solid at the back, but hopefully we're able to invest, maybe not in this window, we've still got a few days left, we never know what might happen, who we might bring in, but certainly for the future, we should be financially stable. Remember, we keep almost at the end of every season dropping below the zero mark there. Hopefully we won't do that now with all this money in the bank. 18 million in the bank now should make the club financially stable for the future, which is what we've got to do here at Kilmarnock, first and foremost, and then try and push on. The club really just want Europa League football, so finishing third in the league, and if we can do that, that's great. Champions League is always a bonus, but they're not really looking to get into the Champions League. So all those results that you saw there have left us in 4th position, just 3 points behind Hearts. Actually, looks like if Rangers win their game in hand against Aberdeen, they'll go on to 47 points. The Rangers and Celtic are quite a long way away. It looks like top two's a wee while away, but we could very easily get 3rd position. You can see we've actually only lost 3 games, which is the 2nd best in the league. Only Celtic and Rangers have lost less games than us. But you can see our defeats were against Motherwell, Celtic and Livingston. So you see Motherwell are in 7th, Livingston are bottom of the table, though having only won 3 games this season. That's very disappointing. But the more disappointing thing is the number of draws that we've had. I know we've drawn against some good teams there. When you look at Hibs, we've drawn against twice, we've drawn against Rangers twice. Can't complain about that too much, I suppose. But games against teams like Livingston, Dundee United, Hamilton twice in there, Aberdeen even, because they're down in 8th this season. If we could have just turned 3 of those from draws into wins, that's an extra 6 points. And that would put us 3 points ahead of Hearts, closer to Celtic and Rangers. I'm not going to say that we're going to have won the league, but the fact we've got 9 draws there is it's slightly worrying. And the main reason for that, as you can see from the fixtures, is 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, 2-1, 0-0, 1-1, 0-0, 1-1, 1-1. Normally low scoring draws. We had a 2-2 against Rangers, fair enough, but most of the time it's because we're just not scoring enough goals, and that's something we're going to have to try and address. Eamon Brophy has just come off a spell where he hadn't scored for quite a long time. He ended up scoring a goal either in the most recent game or the game just before, but we really need to get him his scoring boots back on and start scoring some goals for us. And hopefully Brophy can do that in this game here against St Mirren. And here is the team for the game. We do have an injury to Dylan Tate still. He's out for the next 4 weeks. Well, up to 4 weeks. Let's hope he can come back slightly earlier than that. Makronitis is suffering from some fitness issues, as is his Greek compatriot Kokovas. So the team looks like this. We're going to go with a Robbie Much in goal, with Hamilton and Spence at centre-back. Hamilton will be making his debut. You can see he doesn't have a number yet. We'll see what we give him. Logan playing right-back. Egan Riley playing left-back to fill in for Kokovas. Kastrup will move over to the playmaker role because we've got no Makronitis. Woods just beside him. Mockery is going to play in behind the striker today. He did play his first game on the left and he only had a 6.3 rating, so he can play behind the striker. Bolly come back in after his injury to the left hand side. Richards on the right and Eamon Brophy up front, and hopefully he can get his shooting boots on today. And we'll give Jamie Hamilton number 4. Why not? No one's had that number since Mark O'Hara left. So here we go, game against St Mirren. Let's see if we can get the win here. They're playing the 4-3-3 with 3 strikers. So hopefully those 3 strikers don't overload our 2 centre-backs. Corner kick here for St Mirren. McPherson swings the ball in, and Nathan Broadhead, the former Kilmarnock man, nearly heads the ball in. Throw in here for St Mirren. McCohen gets it. And the ball is headed clear. Mockery with it here. Finds Charles Bolly. What's he going to do? He's going to hit it. And oh, that's nearly a cracking goal. Just fizzes over the crossbar. McPherson swings in the free kick. And Spence, who's already yellow carded, gets the ball headed away. Brophy with it now on the right hand side. He's got men in the middle if he wants to use them. He swings it into Richards, and that's a cracking header. And Bolly, what on earth has gone on there for that goal? Goodness me. That is unexpected, I would say. Brophy with the ball down the right hand side, crosses the ball back into Richards, who heads it out to Bolly. Bolly kicks it off the post, and then the defender slides in, puts it in his own goal. That is unfortunate to say the least, but we will take that goal. 1-0 to Kilmarnock. See, St Mirren have actually been fairly dominant in terms of shots in this game, but we've had most of the ball, and we've got the ball again here. Mockery to Kastrup, playing in triangles here with Logan. Can he swing the ball over? Was that a shot or was that maybe a cross? I'm not sure, but it wasn't very good, whatever it was. And Coleman, the keeper, plays the ball forward, and both our centre-backs missed the ball there, and it's chipped from Nathan Broadhead. And he never did that when he was with us. Why is he doing it now that he's with St Mirren? That's... oh, goodness me. Route 1 stuff. Spence and Hamilton both missed the ball. Broadhead gets it and chips it from, 20 yards out over the goalkeeper. That's a cracking finish. But an embarrassing way to concede a goal. And at half-time, it's 1-1. I'll be honest, I'm going to say that that's not good enough. I'm not going to say I'm pleased with how they're going. I'm going to say I'm not happy with performance out there. Go and actually do something better. There's no one above a 6.9. And we need to get that. The ball swung in there from Woods. Ends up being cleared. Kastrup with it. Finds Spence. Oh, he hits it off the striker and Broadhead comes away with it, and this is going to be goal number 2 for St Mirren. Oh, what a save from Much, making up for the error from Spence there. That's a cracking save. No wonder he's went up to a 7.2 after that. That was a certain goal for St Mirren there, and a great save from the goalkeeper. The ball headed away from us, but no one seems to be going out to get it. McPherson here into Canu, and Broadhead hits it. Why is he doing this against us? He never ever perform like this for Kilmarnock when he was here. That's why I was happy to sell him, and now he's doing that. McPherson gets the ball, he plays it into Canu, and Broadhead takes one touch and then batters it for 25 yards. 2 goals into the top corner for Nathan Broadhead today. What on earth's going on? Right, so I've made some tactical changes. You see it looks a little bit funky here. What we've done is we've went to 3 at the back to try and counter the 3 up front they've got. So Jordan Brown has come on for Cammy Logan to play at centre-back. Egan Riley has went from the left-back position to the right wing-back position. Charles Bolly can play left wing-back, so he is playing there. We'll bring Mockery back to sit him into the midfield to go up against our 3 midfielders. And I'll look to overload the right-hand side with Richards there and Egan Riley when they go up the right, and Brophy sitting just to the left up front to see what happens. I'll be honest, I don't know what's going to happen. It's something. We're losing 2-1. We need to try and do something to win the game, and this is what I've decided I'm going to try and do. Mockery has been performing rubbish, so he can come off and Robbie Burton can come on instead. And Eamon Brophy is not doing great, but at least he's fit. Unfortunately, Rodell Richards isn't. So James Forrest can come on that right-hand side for the last 20 minutes. We'll go... I was going to say we'll go attacking, but we'll see what happens from this highlight. First, Egan Riley with the ball, swings it in, headed clear. Egan Riley with the ball again, into Kastrup now. Finds Woods. Woods into Brophy, into James Forrest, and there we go. That's his third goal of the season, the second for Kilmarnock in this game. There's 20 minutes to go. We're 2-2 now. Let's see what happens. We've had more shots since we've changed to this formation. I don't know exactly what that means, in terms of shots and why it is we're getting more shots, but I'll take it nonetheless. 2-2. Let's see what we can do these last 20 minutes of this game. And surely there's got to be a highlight. There's not been one since that James Forrest goal. Come on, give us a highlight, Football Manager. You're not going to do it. Full time, 2-2. Remember I was talking about us drawing games all the time? Well, that's another one that we've drawn there. Oh, goodness me. Yeah, I'm happy with James Forrest coming on. But not exactly what we wanted for the result there. Somehow still stay ahead of Hibs because they lost to Aberdeen, it looks like there. We stay 3 points behind Hearts after their draw with Ayr, but not impressed at all. Let's move on to this Hearts game and hopefully we can get through in the Scottish Cup. Right, so here we are back for the game against Hearts today, the replay of the Scottish Cup 4th round. Jamie Hamilton cannot play for us today because he is cup tied. He's already played in an earlier round, I think probably the actual 4th round for Hamilton, so he can't play in this replay. So instead, Kokovas will come back in because he is now fully fit. And CJ Egan Riley will slide over to centre back. In the midfield, Makarinitis will come in for Kastrup as well. And Chris Mockery has not played well in his 2 games for us so far this season. So Greg Kiltie will come in and play at attacking midfield. Brophy up front, as always. Richards on the right, Bolly on the left. And Logan, I don't think I said Logan playing right back. Logan playing right back with Much Ingle. It's a very similar team, I'm sure you can see, to most of the time. So here we go, the replay for this 4th round of the Scottish Cup begins, and we'll see if we can perform slightly better than we have in the last 2 games that we've played against Hearts. Bolly gets a corner early on, it's swung in and it's headed clear. It comes as far as Woods, who finds Bolly on the left hand side, again into Brophy, and there's a goal from Brophy, 17th of the season. Shooting boots back on for this man, hopefully, for the run-in here. See, the ball comes out to Bolly here on the left-hand side. He puts the ball into the middle, and Brophy is unmarked and finishes that. That's a very strange angle we got to see there. 1-0. And that's been a very boring first half. The only highlight of the game was the goal you got to see there. I'll say we've played all right so far, but there's room for improvement. And see if in this second half we can do something slightly better. But Hearts have the ball to start it. Egan Riley gets the ball clear though. Kiltie collects it. We've got many men forward here. Richards with it on the right hand side. Gets challenged and the ball's cleared away. But Logan has the ball and Makarinitis and Woods in the middle. Some nice passing going on here. Kiltie gets down the right. What's he going to do? He gets challenged. It's a penalty kick and Brophy has a chance to score a goal here. And Brophy steps up to take this penalty and he puts it wide. Goodness me. He really has not been in great form recently. And it's showing there, even though he got his goal earlier on in the day. Hearts with the throw in here. Doughty into Barlow. The ball swung into the back post and Burgess here. He gets tackled by Kokovas. I'm not sure what happened. So the penalty's been awarded. And look like, oh yes, yellow card for Kokovas. Does Barlow score this penalty? He does indeed. He makes it 1-1 here in the replay of this 4th round match. Oh goodness me, they score their penalty, we miss ours, and that's why we are currently all square. Keeper guesses the right way, just does not dive far enough, and that's 1-1. Made a change. Mockery's going to come on for Bolly here, but it's going to happen after this highlight. Egan Riley has it, finds Kiltie and Woods and Bolly, who comes in field and finds Logan on the right hand side. Surely he'll cross this in. He cuts inside himself and shoots and scores his 2nd goal of the season against his former team. 2-1 to Kilmarnock here. Cammy Logan scores the goal against Hearts. His former team, and Danny Rogers, the former Kilmarnock goalkeeper, lets that one in at his near post. 2-1 to Kilmarnock. A highlight straight from the goal. However, you know what this normally means? It normally means another goal will happen. Irving with the ball out to Doughty on the left-hand side here. The ball bounces off Rodell Richards, but it comes back to the Hearts players. Barlow into Chalmers, into Burgess. Spence misses his challenge, but Much holds on to the ball. And it's 2-1 still to Kilmarnock here. Made some changes. Brown and Forrest have come on the right-hand side for Logan and Richards. There are 6 minutes added time here, where they are ticking away without a highlight, and we have won the game 2-1. We are through to the next round of the Scottish Cup, and it'll be interesting to see who we get to play in that. We play up against St Johnstone, and that's going to happen on the 8th of February. That's just a week and a half away. So this looks like it might be a bumper episode with the length of time it's taken here, with all the talking about the previous games and the 2 games we've had today. I'm going to make it even more bumper though. I'm going to continue on the next couple of days. The transfer window closes in the next 2 days, and we'll see if there are any more transfers that happen, and if and when they happen. I say if and when. Maybe there won't be any. But when they happen, I will be here and let you know as they are happening. So here is a signing that is happening on deadline day. We are looking to sign Alan Graham, the striker from Hamilton Academical. Just look at some of those statistics he's got there at 17 years old. 17 finishing, 17 composure, 16 teamwork, 16 anticipation, his first touch is 15, technique 15, work rate 14. This player is going to be amazing. We're told that he would be a superb signing, and I totally agree. I think he will be a superb signing. We sign him now, it also means that he then becomes one of our homegrown players for when we have to register him for European and league competition, stuff like that, which is always useful indeed. He's currently a 3-star ability player, and he's got the potential, according to a report, at the worst to be a 4.5-star player. Could be even better than that. I think he's going to be a great signing. We have paid a lot of money for him. You can see the total transfer is going to cost £18 million. Up front, it's only something like 5 million, and then it's 5 million after 20 international appearances. After 10 league goals, they get £3 million. Per game he plays for me, they get £75,000. They do get percentage of the profit from the next sale, and we are loaning him back to Hamilton until the end of this season. So we're not going to get to play with him this year, but from next season we will. So hopefully he'll get some more game time at Hamilton. As you can see, he's played 8 games so far this season, scoring just the 2 goals, but it looks like he could do better than that. We are taking a punt here on a player like this, but fingers crossed it will work, because I don't normally pay this sort of money for a young player, but there were other teams like Rangers and Arsenal snooping about to try and get him. So I'm hoping that means he is going to be a good player, and I'm hoping he will be great. For a 17 finishing and a 17-year-old striker is really hard to come by, and hopefully we can develop the rest of those attributes around him. And we're also signing here Elliot Scott from St Johnstone. So he scored 12 goals last year in the Premiership as they went down. He scored 4 so far in 10 substitute appearances for St Johnstone down in the Championship. He again has got 15 finishing and a 19-year-old here. He's not quite as good as the other gentleman we've just signed, Graham, but he's not going to cost as much. 1.3 million, rising possibly to 1.9. I will happily accept that offer, and he comes in just now and we'll look to add to the squad, because we have been struggling with goals. When Brophy doesn't score, we do struggle. He has asked to leave, which is why we are getting him, I personally think, for so cheap, because he looks like he's got some good statistics there physically, and some of his technical ones are good as well. Maybe improve things like, work rate and passing and possibly first touch, but finishing there, a 15, dribbling a 16, could be a very technical player for us. And then he comes, Elliot Scott. 2 strikers coming in this window. I just say that, and now this deal of Elliot Scott is falling through because we cannot afford the deal, it says, after signing Graham. Ideal. Let's see if there's any outs, and we might be able to go back in for the Elliot Scott. And on the way out is Ross Stuart. Remember this striker we got? He's 28 years old. He's going to Falkirk for £10,000. We signed him for a free all the way back there at the end of the first season we had. He then did play 23 games for us in his first season with the club. 20 of those games were from the bench though, and you can see over 4 years he's scored 2 league goals, which is not really good enough for a striker, is it? Even though I know he didn't get a huge amount of opportunity. Not really good enough. So away he goes to Falkirk. And Kyle Semple was unhappy he was not playing for us. Remember, we signed him for £82,000 this season after a couple of seasons on loan with us. So he's getting sold to Derby County for £150,000, making a little bit of profit on him and freeing up some wage budget too. And more of our kind of squad players going out. Tom White here is moving to Hibs. Remember, Tom White was one of our midfielders, kind of first choice midfielder for those 2 years there in the second and third season we had. He ended up being a bit of a bit part player after he brought in Kastrup, Makrenitis, Andre Woods, players like that. And so far this season, just 1 substitute appearance. So selling him to Hibs, unfortunately a division rival, but it's to Hibs for £100,000. And we went back in for another offer for Elliot Scott, but instead he has signed a deal with Watford. Understandably, they're offering him £8,000 a week. I certainly was not. He is now at Watford though, and he's listed for loan. So I'm hoping I might get him in on loan. Maybe. And we have indeed got Elliot Scott in on loan. That was a very strange transfer. Got it accepted. Nearly came here. We didn't have the money. We then bid again, but instead he went to Watford and we've loaned him in from Watford. Very weird indeed, but nonetheless, we've got our man at least for the next 6 months. So now we've got him here, we can actually see he is looking a very good player. 3-star player, that's the same as Eamon Brophy at the moment. See how he does when he is here. If Brophy does not continue to perform, then Elliot Scott will obviously take some games as our striker. 6'2", nice tall striker, 3 or 4 inches taller than Eamon Brophy. So we could use him a bit more, you know, as a kind of threat from crosses, etc., compared to what Brophy is at the moment. But look at those physical stats, they're amazing as well. I didn't quite realise how good they were. 17 acceleration, 17 natural fitness, 14 pace, 16 balance. He's looking very good. He'll be a very dangerous physical player, I think. Very much looking forward to using him. Very disappointed I didn't get a hold of him. Upon reflection, maybe I shouldn't have got the boy for Hamilton for so much, you know, and maybe passed that one by and went for Elliot Scott, you know, for slightly less money and got him here instead of. It looks like we've missed out on him now because he's now gone to Watford and I think he's going to stay there for a while. But we nearly had him. We've got him in on loan though anyway, and hopefully we can use him fairly well. Bristol City have made an offer of £1 million for Makrenitis, and that certainly is not being accepted. We've got just a few hours of deadline day to finish up here. It looks like we are not going to get any more deals done. Indeed, we are not. The transfer window has passed. You can see there some of the biggest deals involved me. Etienne going from myself to Shenhua in China, and Alan Graham coming to me from Hamilton. Says they're £18 million, but that's including a lot of add-ons. But he has gone back to Hamilton to finish the season. If we compare Alan Graham to Elliot Scott, you can see physically Elliot Scott, no doubt, much better player. But looking at some of the mental and technical attributes, Alan Graham is a lot better. So I know you can't really train physical attributes. It's mainly the kind of mentals and technicals you can train. But I'm more than happy with 11 acceleration. You know, 9 pace maybe isn't great, but I'm happy enough with his physicals. And those mentals are a good starting point, especially that 17 finishing. That could be very exciting when he returns here. Valued at £16 million, which is very interesting indeed. So squad registration, when you work your way through it, everyone who requires to be registered is registered. All our under 21s are not needing to be registered, so you don't add them in. However, we do now have a minimum squad size problem. Need 15 players to be registered in the squad, so we will register. We'll shove Dougie Green in. There we go. So we've now got 15, which is the minimum squad size you require. And that is our transfer window over. So you can see there just down at the bottom, we can see Etienne and Stuart Finley. They left earlier, we learned about them. And on deadline day, we sold Ross Stewart, Kyle Semple and Tom White. And we sent Alan Graham back out on loan to Hamilton. And we signed Elliot Scott in on loan. And Alan Graham we signed as well before sending them back on loan. See, we signed 2 players from Hamilton this transfer window. let's see how Hamilton do the rest of the season without Jamie Hamilton at the back. And I know they've got Alan Graham back on loan, but that's 2 players they will have lost. Oh yeah, and some more news. I kind of hinted at before. The first knockout round of the Europa League, we play against Juventus. So a nice, easy game. We're going to come back for that double header against Juventus in the next episode. Yeah, save that secret right until the end. So, Juventus in Europa League, of all the teams we could have got, that feels very, very harsh. You've got teams we could have had, like Braga, Getafe, Brondby, who had already beaten this season, Lokomotiv Moscow. Hibs have got through to the knockout round as well. In fact, Celtic are here as well. 3 Scottish teams in this round of the Europa League, which means we won't have any in the Champions League, because obviously me and Celtic qualify for the Champions League this season. But yeah, probably the toughest team there. I mean, I know there's hard teams like, Bayer Leverkusen, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Benfica, Porto, but I would like to say that Juventus are probably the toughest. You can see that they have won the league 2 of the last 4 seasons there in Italy. And their team still has players in it like Matty de Ligt, Fekir, and just this little guy called Kevin De Bruyne. Look at those statistics compared to my players. I have a feeling it might be a bit of a domination from Juventus against us, but we'll see what happens. So if you had enjoyed this bumper episode, a transfer window special, then do leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're looking forward to this next game against Juventus, every time I say that I get worried. Double header in the first knockout round of the Europa League is next time up against Juventus. If you're looking forward to that, hit a thumbs up as well. Come on, get those likes. It really does help me out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until the next one, we'll see you then.